John Van, sportbiketrackgear.com, and today we're going to install a set of Samco Sport silicone hoses on our 2015 Yamaha YZF-R1 STG project bike. Okay, Samco Sport, very high quality stuff. You'll see this at the highest levels of racing. They do automotive and motorcycle, of course. This is a relatively small kit for this bike. It's really affordable. It's only a 3-piece kit because Yamaha used a lot of actual tubing in place of the hoses. So we got a couple of hoses to replace. The most difficult one is going to run from the radiator right up just under the fuel tank. When you do a Samco Sport kit, you're going to want to get the clamp kit they offer with it, right? As you'll notice, there are no cutouts all the way through for the worm screw on the clamp. Very high-end clamp. If you use the stock clamp that has the cutouts, it'll damage the hose. You don't want to do that. There are some performance benefits to this, right? I remember on our 2014 Honda CBR 1000R, it was a larger kit, lots of hoses in there, and it actually helped to make the bike run cooler because the coolant flowed through it more efficiently, especially the way they bundled some of the junctions together. I don't know if I'm going to really pick up a big performance benefit on this one because, let's be honest, not a whole lot of hoses, but what I will tell you is that these hoses in the red color are going to look super sweet poking out from the edges of the bodywork and just really help to make this bike, right, more unique. What do we need to do this? Side fairings have to come off. Fuel tank is going to need to come off. We just changed the coolant, put an engine ice a few weeks ago. I want to reuse that, so I cleaned a drain pan, right? We're going to drain into the pan and just reuse the coolant. So to begin the process, and we'll show you some of the disassembly. I'm going to remove this side fairing. This is going to give me access to the drain as well as the radiator cap. When you're draining the cooling system, it is most efficient when the radiator cap is off. Allows it to drain much faster. You can see we have 4 quick release fasteners there. We have 2 push pins that are on the inner portion of the upper fairing. I'm going to release those, and then from there, I'm going to kind of lift up a little bit. A couple of clips here, right, where it joins the lower fairing here in the front. Release all that, grab it like so, and you're going to want to give it a quick push forward, and that will release the clips that hold it in place. Now, here is the lowest point. That's where we're going to drain the system. We need to remove this aluminum trim shield. All right, 2 Allen bolts there. Put those all to the side. And now, clamps all out of the way here. Go ahead and loosen this up. Okay, got the drain out, and now we'll come up to the radiator cap. Notice the fluid didn't even start draining until I released the cap, right? That's what happens when there's no ability for the air to enter the system. You've got it capped up top, so the water essentially seals itself down there. The molecules are working against each other and they can't escape through the hole until you have the ability for air to enter the system. So take the cap off, the system drains nicely. Good clean drain pan will just reuse this fluid. There's no need to replace it. This would be, if you're going to do this hose kit and you haven't changed your stock coolant, this would be a great time to put in some, racetrack legal stuff. You're going to do track days or racing. When we come back, I'll have the other side fairing off and we'll begin working on the fuel tank. All right, side fairings are off, system's draining. I'm going to show you how to remove the fuel tank. All right, we've done this in some other videos, but we'll go ahead and cover that again for you right now. It's going to begin by removing the rider seat. There are 2 Allens with a 5mm head. that are at the rearward corner of the seat. Fold up the foam, you're able to get in there with your T-handle, loosen it up, no worries. Once you've got them out all the way, go ahead and grab the seat, give it a little tug back, comes right off. Now we also need to be able to get the trim panels off the side. Got 4mm Allen right there, and slide forward. Because we have the tech spec on there, it actually kind of keeps the fastener kind of captured in there, which is kind of cool. Make it a little more difficult to lose that piece. Front of the fuel tank. Central mounting bolt there. On either side of the fuel tank, and you'll see this more clearly on the other side, there's another mounting bolt. Also 5mm head Allen. Come to the other side here, we'll be able to see this real clearly. 4mm right here. Okay, slide forward, off that comes, and right here is going to be that centrally mounted Allen. All right, and now at the rear of the tank, we have that big pivot. You could, I suppose, try and just pop it up. I'm actually going to take it off. I think that's going to make it easier and give you all a really good look at exactly what we're doing. Okay, now we can get the tank propped up, and then we will have to release the fuel line and the electrical connectors, as well as the vent lines here. Vent lines have little spring clamps on. Those are really easy to remove. And then we have our electrical connector here. Depress the lock, pull it off, and then we have our fuel line. And we need to get in here and release the line. Okay, last piece of the puzzle here. Gonna release the fuel line. Go ahead and take that clamp, right, that lock, pull it outward with a little screwdriver, and then pull out gently. You may, right, lose a little fuel here. It won't be very much. There's a check valve and pump. Pull the tank off, put it somewhere where it won't be damaged. Okay, we're going to begin with this bypass hose back here. Like I said, it's kind of right here towards the back, under the injector rail, top of the engine here. Stock, it's just coming with a little spring clamp. All right, get that in there and release it. Grab onto the hose, pliers. Give that a little twist, just try and get it to break loose on the housing. May lose a little bit of coolant back here, so get a rag to absorb it. Just make a mess. Tuck that right under there. And we'll go through to the other side of the bike. Up here, release our spring clamp. Slide the hose off. kind of take a look at how it's routed in there, make sure we're able to replicate that. It's pretty simple here. Yamaha did supply this with this protective coating on it. I may see if this is going to fit over our Samco hose. I don't want to cover very much of it up, but maybe just a little bit where it's rolling through the frame there, just to be safe. Okay, we're going to reuse this factory hose protector that Yamaha had on there. I will confess to the fact that I shortened it up just a little bit, because there were some areas where it was in, I didn't feel that it really could contact any points on the bike where it could damage the hose. That was one reason. And I'll admit the real reason was I want to see as much of this hose as possible because it looks really cool to contrast the colors on the bike. You can make fun of me, you can tease me, you can say, hey, when are you going to put the color bolt kit on it? Because that may very well be coming next. I'm definitely having a good time with this project. It's kind of cool when you make the motorcycle your own, you know, and it varies from stock. Okay, like so, get that shortened up there. And now we're going to go ahead and pass this through up to the front of the motorcycle. Guide it a little bit, push it through so I can feel it come out the front side here. Grab a hold of it. There it is right there. All right. And now back here, we'll grab our clamp. All right, we're ready to secure this point here. And I'm going to put the clamp in a position where I will be able to not drive her on it. Get the hose on all the way until it hits the stop. There we go. Clamp down into position. To loosen it up just a little bit. Get it down far enough. Actually have a 1/4 inch swivel on the end of a nut driver here so I can get good torque on this. Just a hose clamp, you don't need to go crazy, but the other thing you don't want to do is create a coolant leak. Okay, so I've got that into position, right? And we'll come up here, put the clamp on by the radiator. I'll be ready to do the lower hoses. Slide that up. Put your clamp on. Clamp good and tight. From the factory, Yamaha had the crimp style clamps on, so we're actually going to have to cut those off, right? And I'm going to get a pair of side cutters to do that. Okay, to release these stock Yamaha clamps, you're just going to basically go ahead and get your side cutters in here, right? And you'll roll it forward. It'll unclip itself like so. Right, these are not going to be reusable. Additionally, I removed the little lower nose fairing, and I went in here and I took the lower radiator mount bolt and I took it out. I feel like we're going to need to pivot this thing forward a little bit in order to change these hoses. Got a hose removal tool, helps a little bit to get in here and release the seal between the hose and the radiator. We're going to go over to the other side of the motorcycle, release the clamps and the hose, and then see if we can't move that radiator forward a little bit. That should allow us to replace the hoses. Out of all the bikes I've ever owned, this is the most cosmetic I've ever gotten. I would say, you know, modifying the bike in a cosmetic manner. Normally, I was far more concerned with only its performance, right? And a lot less concerned for the way it looked. And this thing, I mean, out of the box performed so well that I spent a little more time making it look cool. When you get to this side, you can see, and it's going to be because of that thermostat housing back here. Okay, there was a little bit of coolant trapped in it, and we'll let that out, not all over the floor. Go ahead and remove that hose. Go over to the other side, and do the same thing. Put the plug back in it. Wipe that up, and then we'll get this hose off of here and begin installing the two new Samco hoses. The hose on this side, slide that into place, rotate it up. Definitely loosening the radiator, the must. I don't think you'd be able to get it otherwise. We're going to slip that on just part of the way, and we'll come over to the other side now and get this hose going. A little larger diameter here at the bottom than we have up at the top. Slippery. Hose slid on there. Get that into position. And now we can start to work the hoses into place on both sides. Okay, what I'm looking for here is I want to have an equal amount of hose, right? You see where the bubble is there, okay, on the nipple, and that gives me appropriate clamping surface. I'm going to go ahead and dry my hands off a little bit, and we're going to tighten up the hose clamps. Okay, let's go ahead and get these clamps tightened up. Remember, you don't need to torque these down to the point where you're really distorting the hose, okay? Need a little bit of compression, and the real sealing is done, you know, with that nipple that's just in front of it right here. So that's plenty on both of these. And we'll go over to the other side. Once I'm done with this, we're going to reinstall the fuel tank. I'm going to leave the side fairings off for the time being because I want to show you guys the coolant bleeding process. I think that could be pretty helpful. Okay, so when we come back, clamps will all be tight, fuel tank will be on, and we're going to be ready to bleed our cooling system. Okay. Use the funnel to put the fluid back inside. Now what we're going to do, remember I put the plug back in here. Okay? I'm going to remove it for a moment. And you're going to see that initially, right, it's going to fart a little bit. A little bit of air out of here because the air typically gets trapped on the bottom. Ooh, yeah. All right, and that's actually a pretty serious air pocket. So we let that out. And now we're ready to put the plug back in, and we're going to tighten that up. Okay, we're done with that. Now One of the other things that I will do from time to time too is kind of squeeze the hose a little bit, and I'll show you that. Let's see if I can get a little bit more of this coolant back in here to the radiator closer to full. And what I'll do is just kind of squeeze the hoses a little bit. Just kind of gets the coolant moving around in the radiator. Okay, helps to move some of the air out. You can actually hear that right there. Do that a few times. I'm going to lower it down, top it off, and we will warm the bike up. Okay. You need to run the motorcycle, right? At first, it's going to get warm, okay? You're going to see it climb, probably just a little over, right around 230, and then it's going to begin to cool down, right? That thermostat's going to open up, the coolant's going to flow, your fans are going to come around 220, and it's going to stabilize. You can clearly see we have a little bit of coolant left in the drain pan. Remember, this all came out of the motorcycle, and the system was perfectly topped off, right? Perfect fluid level. We lost very little spillage, okay, just a little bit. So at the end of the day, what's going to happen here is we go through a full cycle or two of heating it up and cooling it down. It's going to draw from the overflow bottle, and you'll find that we're going to end up somewhere down around here, and the rest of the coolant will fit in it. So basically, start your bike, run it. You're going to see it go over, a little over 230. It's going to start to cool down. Your fans are going to be on at 220, right? Let it run until that temperature stabilizes at idle, somewhere in that very low 200s, okay? Shut it off, let it cool down. We've got pressure built in there. Inspect for leaks, okay? And then if we don't see any movement yet in the coolant reservoir, remember, after your first ride, you're going to want to take a look at this because you may lose a little bit from here and draw it into the radiator. Okay, cooling system bled, motorcycle's back together. We're just going to wrap this up, right? And I got one important tip at the very end. First thing I'm going to say, all right, you make fun of me all you want. These hoses look really cool, okay? I mean, you get that little touch of red through there. We've got some blue ones coming too. It just looks cool. End of the day, gives that real super bike look and feel. Come around the other side of the bike. You'll see it there as well. And now the important part. Here is your coolant reservoir, okay? You can see the full and the low line there. This is what you're going to keep an eye on, okay, after your first ride, whether it's a racetrack ride, it's a street ride, okay? It is going to drop after a good full heat cycle. It's probably going to go somewhere around the lower, just a little bit lower than that, and you're going to need to top it off the rest of the way. So just be cognizant of that. You're not going to be missing so much coolant that it's going to be, detrimental to the performance. It shouldn't be unless you had a lot of spillage, okay? Keep an eye on that. Make sure you warm the bike, bleed the system, very, very important. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, take it to a licensed motorcycle mechanic, because if you do it wrong and you overheat your bike, you are going to create some huge issues for yourself mechanically, and you don't want to do that, okay? This is how I did it on mine. If you follow it on yours, odds are you'll be okay. This is the Samco radiator hose kit install on our 2015 Yamaha YZF-R1 STG project bike.